Hey everyone, Steve from the Evil Empire Emotion Twin Teams here. I'm back with another attempt at a vlog for you all. We've just released our 19th update, the Update of Plenty, which started out as an attempt to better balance the game, but has kind of ended up as a complete revamp of like all of the items and mechanics that we felt were a bit underwhelming. You know, we kind of like making extra work for ourselves. So expect a bit of a different feel to your runs in Dead Cells as you go forward, and hopefully you enjoy them. So our first big rework was for the economy. A comment that's been floating around for a while now is that the price and quality of merchants is pretty awful if you don't have your forge maxed out. So to fix this, we're changing how much gold is dropped and how merchant categories actually work. So essentially you'll be able to buy more items and have more choice at each merchant. So you can change and improve your builds without worrying about having money later on down the track if you want to adjust your tactics, buy a health potion or anything else. At the same time, we made a weapons level more impactful, so switching your weapons during a run should be more rewarding. Next up is the Forge rework. So we've actually removed the scrolls from the ++ and S quality weapons and compensated for this by changing the health and damage of enemies. There's also more scrolls in the early levels depending on the boss cell that you're playing on. So this should help stop players who don't have their forge maxed out again from running straight into a difficulty wall at higher levels, especially the infamous 2BC spike. DOT, or damage over time, was also getting a bit of a bad rep, so we've reworked these effects to give each one their own identity. So bleeding will focus on killing one enemy at a time, you know, stack a whole bunch of bleed damage on an enemy and you get a one-off burst. Poison will be for crowd control, low damage but really easily spread amongst enemies. Burn damage will stay the same because it's pretty much perfect, but we've also introduced a new shock effect. So essentially when you hit a shocked enemy, that enemy and any enemies nearby will take extra damage. However, the effect doesn't spread between enemies. Damage mutations also got a bit of a look over. At the moment, damage from these mutations is calculated from a base DPS value, separate from the weapon's DPS value. So the mutations end up contributing less and less to total weapon damage as the weapon level or quality increases. A weapon's level quality and affixes all increase your DPS purely by multiplying the weapon's base DPS by percentages. So this stops their effects from falling off as the weapon quality increases. So basically what we've done is just change the mutations to work in the same way that the weapons do. Finally, the last major part of the rework is on a ton of existing weapons and skills. So some are being buffed, some are being nerfed, but the idea is to make each and every item an actual real valid choice, rather than having just a few core meta builds that really dominate the game. So crossbows, for example, are now all two-handed and uniquely for survival. So this lets you take advantage of having a bigger health pool to make up for their slower fire rate and hefty damage. So we're going to add some survival mutations to support the changes that we've made to crossbows, but we're just waiting to see how they perform instead of, you know, rushing out mutations that are going to have to be changed like in a week from now anyway. Also, you now get a backpack with every two-handed weapon. If you remember, the scythe was the first two-handed weapon we introduced, and so you can hold onto a weapon or shield. That way you don't have an empty slot if you swap out your two-hander for a single-handed weapon later on. Anyway, that's it for us this time. Hopefully you'll enjoy the changes that we've made. As usual, if you don't, or if you do and you want to tell us about it, please do. Hit us up in the comments here. Specifically, if you really want to get in contact with us and be sure that we're going to see what you've written, hit us on the Reddit, the subreddit Dead Cells, or on Discord. Generally that'll get through us to us easiest, or Twitter as well is pretty good as well. Anyway, thank you all. We couldn't do it without you. Take it easy.